everyone, welcome to episode 33. Today I'm with the one and only Lyla Grace Ramsey.
Hey!
What?
Don't put that in.
I think I might.
Okay.
If you haven't listened to any of Lyla's episodes before, she's been in 2. She's had one on her own. She's supposed to have another one on her own, but Jackson Absher kind of got in the middle of that one. She's been in every blooper reel. We'll probably have another one. Yeah, claps.
I invented that. No, I didn't, but...
Actually, no, I think she did.
Okay.
The
The first one is very humorous.
first one was.
So go
Yeah.
watch it. Kingdom
Yes,
Workers
yes,
podcast on
there you
Instagram.
go.
Wait, self-promo.
Oh. Yes, Anderson, you can be in it. Is there something you'd like to say? Okay. Well, to those of you watching and listening, we're going to be having like a conversation. Normally I make all podcasts are a conversation, but normally I make an outline and
No
I come up with
conversations.
questions, and it's more of like an interview, but today we didn't do that. So we're going to be, oh, hi Anderson. Is there something you'd like to tell them? This is my sister Anderson. She's 6 years old. You just want to, you want to sit in my lap?
I'm 15.
Okay, she's,
Say your age.
Oh,
Name,
sorry.
age, and occupation.
okay.
Lyla, 15, student.
Okay.
I don't
What's
have a
your
job.
name, age, and job?
Job.
Yep. You just say student.
Oh.
Yeah, tell him.
Anderson, I'm 6. Student.
Student. Okay. My name is Madison Grace. I am 16. I'm the old one here. And
Not for long.
okay. And oh, sorry. I am also a student, but you know, I have little side hustles here and there. I just recently started a photography page. That's another.
Go follow
Magnified
Magnified by
Madison.
Madison.
Anyways, this is not what the podcast
Sorry.
is for. No, don't be sorry. It was me. Not here to glorify myself. We're here to glorify God.
Are you
So-
kidding me?
What?
You were like, here to go with my God.
Yes. Okay. So instead of coming with an outline like I was saying, we have just come up with like our own thoughts about what we want to talk about. We're going to be talking about our struggles as a Christian and like what we are wanting to do to grow our faith this year in 2024. So happy New Year, guys.
Sorry.
But that is our goal. So cue the intro clip. Okay, so what would you say that your number one hardest struggle being a Christian has been?
That's difficult because I feel like for different people there's different kinds, and I feel like we all have a couple, but
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna say mine.
Because, like, disclaimer, being a Christian is not easy. Like, I feel like a lot of people assume that, like, oh, like, you
We're high and
believe-
mighty
yeah,
and stuff, but
like, we are not.
we're just normal people.
we tried to act holy, we tried to not sin, but, guys, this is hard.
difficult.
It's difficult. It's so worth it, and it's the best decision you'll ever make in your entire life. But the truth is that there are struggles. So we're gonna... Okay, you go first. Okay.
Okay, I think my biggest struggle this past year has either been waiting and like being
Ooh,
content
that's a good
in the
one.
seasons that you're in,
That's a
or
good one.
trusting God and like
Mhm.
His plan for your life.
It's-
Because waiting, okay, I'm going to start with this one, because waiting and being content is not easy, especially when
No.
you think you have your whole life planned out,
Mhm.
but you don't. It's really God. He has it in His hands, and I think for me, personally, I've just been like, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and my life is going to be complete.
Mhm.
When really, there are going to be so many turns and turning points in your life, and you really don't know what's going to happen. So I think definitely that has been one of my biggest struggles.
For sure. I will say this past year, that was my hardest... Well, no. I'm going to say this, like, overall, like, my whole entire life, I've always been... I've never been satisfied and content in the season that I'm in. Like, I don't know if it's because I'm the firstborn or what. It's just how I'm wired. I've always been very future-oriented and, like, I can't wait to be this. Like, I couldn't wait to get into high school. I couldn't wait to be 16. I couldn't wait to be able to drive. Like, I couldn't wait to start a family, get a husband, get a boyfriend, all these things.
And when those, like, when they come, like, you've been waiting for it, you're just like,
Yeah.
oh. Like,
Yeah, now what?
Yeah.
So that's just always my biggest struggle. In the past 2 years especially, God has been teaching me patience, and I feel like this is the first season of my whole entire life where I've really been content where I am and where God has me. And so that's been a blessing, but that has definitely been, like, my life struggle as a Christian, like even before I was truly like saved and a believer. But for this year, I think that it's just like consistency staying in the Word, and consistency with not falling into certain sins. And consistency really is important, because how do you have a relationship with God if you're not learning more about Him, or if you're not talking to Him? Like even like my prayer life has been in slumps. Like it's hard, and I feel like you can't really overcome it. One, you have to ask God for like His strength and His guidance and His wisdom, but two, you need to be planted in community, because your friends, they're gonna fill you up, and
your circle matters.
Yeah, your circle matters. You are who you hang out with. Not saying that you have to only hang out with Christian people, because we don't even do that, but like that's who your closest people should be, so they can give you like the right advice and guidance, because it's coming from the one and only.
Yeah, and like
God.
Yes.
God. And Jesus didn't hang out, like talk to his like people who were saved or who believed in Him.
Right.
He went lower than He was to meet us where we are at, and he sat with them and He ate with them, but He didn't sin with them.
Yes, exactly.
And
oh my gosh, that reminds me. Okay, so I if you follow me on Instagram, I posted a lot about like the Luke Bibles challenge for the month of December, and there was a certain chapter, I don't remember which one it was, but it was talking about the betrayal, like Judas betraying Jesus. Jesus loved Judas so much that none of the other disciples knew that it was Judas who was going to be betraying him. And that is loving your enemies. Like, we're not supposed to have enemies in the first place, but that is loving unconditionally, because he knew what Judas was going to do. God knows what you're going to do. Jesus knows what you're going to do and what sins you fall into, and He still unconditionally loves you. And it's so hard for me to wrap my head around, but it's just such an amazing truth.
yeah, and he knew, but he still in his life he wanted to sit with them.
Yeah.
He wanted to wash their feet. And I think that's so important, because I think also you have a stereotype, like we don't like you because you do this.
Right.
That's not true.
Right.
I mean, I also have a this is also been showing like judging, being judgmental, and I think that I don't like this, like, and I think this is a big controversial topic with the Christian community, but like being gay or being lesbian, like I don't hate you, but I just won't follow in that direction. Like I'm gonna love you, and I'm gonna not necessarily support, but I think that I'm gonna love you even if those are the decisions you do choose to make, and I'm still gonna be your friend. I'm still gonna I'm not gonna
respect you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna judge you for that. I mean, if that's, I'm not saying it's right, because that's not what I believe.
Right.
But it's just hard to put into words, because I don't.
It is, but there's a simple phrase, and it's kind of like cliche or whatever, and people don't really understand it, so we can go into depth a little bit. But you are called to like hate the sin, love the sinner. Like, no, we don't. We may not agree with you, but we are still going to love you, and we're still going to respect you, because you can't really love someone if you don't respect them.
Right.
So it's not like we're gonna bash people like that. Or what's another sin? Like, if you've had sex before marriage, like
I'm not gonna be like, ew, oh my gosh.
I can't hang out with you.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel
we
like
can't be friends. Like, you're not on the same page as me, because in reality, sin is all equal except for like blasphemy and not believing in God. That's the one sin that overrules them all. But by me judging someone doing that,
murder.
Yeah, it's the same amount of sin. Like, yes, there are different worldly consequences that happen, like may get pregnant, get a disease, whatever. But like, it's the same amount of sin to God, and that's what like in the end matters. So
because we're all gonna get judged.
Yeah.
We sin on a daily basis.
Yeah.
You can't think you're perfect, because nobody is. We all
Except
mess up.
for
We all
Jesus, and that's why we need Him. Like, that's why He saved us. That's that's the whole point of His life.
We wouldn't be here.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. So that just goes with a lot of things. So judging is something we've definitely had to work on and keep each other accountable. New year, no judgment.
And it's not easy. I mean, that's awful to say. But I mean, it isn't easy.
It's how we're wired and how we've been raised. Like, it's just natural for people to think like, oh, I don't like that. It's like, oh, that could be better.
Yeah.
But there's like a nicer way to think things or say things. But I'd also say another big struggle for the both of us, which we can both like tell our little stories because they're like kind of part testimony, but is finding our community who does believe the same that we do to the extent that we do. In middle school, I was just starting to like find my faith, find a relationship with God, and I went through this big friend group breakup, a whole big isolation period, and the only person I could cling to was God and like family, and it was just so rough. And my whole homeschool career, it was just middle school, I had ups and downs of having friends, not having friends, and I was like, God, like I just need Christian friends, because even my friends like didn't believe like I did. And that made like the first semester of freshman year hard, because I didn't have my people, I didn't have my community. And then, you know, all of these people popped up. Lyla moved from Indy. Emery, she was homeschooled. Megan, she lived in Australia and then she came back, and like Jackson, I'm sure we've been cousins our whole lives, but we didn't start talking to each other. We never talked to each other. All sorts of people. It's it's just been a really big answered prayer, and Lila's had like a similar story with that, with middle school and friends. And again, that was a waiting season for us. We had to be patient and trust that God was going to overcome and provide like we asked for him to do, because it would be glorifying him.
Yeah, and I'm going to kind of share my story too, but I mean, I always thought, I was just like, this is never going to happen, this is just how my life is, but you don't, like, something can happen tomorrow that could change the whole route of my life. Like, we really don't know. And when I was in middle school, my parents got a call that they wanted to move, and I remember sitting at the kitchen counter after they told us and just sobbing my eyes out, because Indy was the only home I ever knew, and all my family lived there, all my friends, that's really all I knew. And so just saying that was kind of almost not ripped away, but just kind of going separate ways with my friends and stuff, that was really difficult. And I think it was really a blessing in disguise, because there was just these teenage girls who just don't know how to like be nice, and that sounds so fifth grader, but like
it's like we all it's just part of being a teenage girl.
It just got really difficult to like understand, like they just really like it, they took me in a bad place, and it was just not good. And so I really think that, yes, it's sad in the moment, but also once I really got in the groove and really met these people who actually love and care about me so much, I think that made it easier, because of course it's hard to move away from your family and your friends, but I also think that if you really trust and cling to God, that he knows what he's doing, I think that's much better than just being like, no,
for sure.
not even gonna like, because I was at the point where I was just like, we're not moving, like I'm gonna find a way not to move. Like, it was bad.
Sorry.
Not moving, staying somewhere. I really thought that was gonna work. I was like, I'm gonna live with my grandparents. No. But he had bigger plans, and I think that definitely.
Oh, for sure. And I've had, like, God has spoken to me, he's promised me things in 2023. I heard his voice a lot, and throughout that, I was like, God, like, I trust you, but I would just, and I sometimes still do, I would just overthink, and I'd be like, I doubt, and I just get in my own head, which is natural, but you're not supposed to. And Luke chapter 1, verse 45, like, I'm living by this verse right now, clinging onto it, because it says, blessed is she who has believed that the Lord would fulfill what he has spoken to her. And oh, that's just so good, and it's so reassuring, and it's such a good reminder that it doesn't matter what I like think may happen or what I want to happen, or like any of my doubts, all of those are just thrown out the window because God told me he was going to do something, and I'm going to believe it. I'm going to believe that he's been delivered. He delivered something very personal to me that he promised me really early in 2023. And he is just so good, and he is going to provide your desires, like, in his will. And whenever I first heard that, like, as a Christian, like, he's going to provide, he's going to answer your prayers, you know, like, ask, seek, knock, and, like, it'll be given to you. And I was like, oh, cool, like, I'll just get whatever I want. But
knock on the door.
Yeah. But the reality is that if it's not glorifying God, he's not going to give it to you, because our life is not to glorify ourselves, it's to glorify God. Like, our whole purpose of existence is to go make disciples and love him and bring others to him. It's not about getting married. It's not about having kids. It's not about, I don't know, having your first kiss, having friends, you know, it's just any of those big life-changing milestones. So that has just really been opened my eyes. So this year in 2024, I'm going to be more hopeful and servant-hearted and just not truly dwell on what I want to happen, because it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And I have a verse too. It kind of goes with trusting and knowing that God knows what he's doing. I think it's Psalm 31, 14, and 15. It's, but I'm trusting you, O Lord, saying, you are my God. My future is in your hands. Rescue me from those who hunt me down relentlessly.
That is so good.
And
oh my gosh.
And that really, like, our life, he holds the whole world in his hands, and we are just a little part of that. And like, really knowing that he's gonna work it out no matter what. Like, again, Romans 8:18. Like, if you're going through something right now, that doesn't
Can't see
mean
the lights shining through.
like, that doesn't mean it's always gonna be like this forever. Like, if you're really sitting there and you're thinking, like, this is never gonna get better, like, why am I going, like, I think another thing that people are like, if God really loves me, then why is he having me go through these hardships?
First off,
because he loves you. And I think,
and by that, like, you have to grow.
Yeah,
You have to
obviously.
get stronger. You have to go through the growing pains, because, you know, like, there has to be rain for flowers to grow. Like, it's just a whole part of it. And he is wanting you to learn things and take away things from seasons that you're in where it is hard. But in the end, if you, like, surrender it all up to God and, like, give it to him and just tell him, like, this is in your hands, I trust you, I believe in you, like, you know what to do, like, you got this, it's going to be answered. He is going to provide. He's going to protect. It's just, sorry. If we were talking about 8:18, or Romans 8:18, if you don't know what that is, it says,
the pain you feel right now can't compare to the joy that is coming.
yes. See, we finish each other.
Sandwiches.
That's what I was gonna say.
Never met someone who thinks so much like me.
Jinx! Jinx again! Okay, you probably won't hear us. Sing. Okay, we'll continue talking about Jesus now.
Yay.
What is something that you are wanting
Oh, yes.
to do in 2023?
I think definitely stay consistent so I can continue to grow. I want, again, stop being so judgmental. Like, that is something I really gotta work on. Like, that sounds awful, but I mean, we all go through those things, and I think that is one thing I can definitely work on, because I can just find myself, I'm just like, ugh, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
even if it's just, like, in your head, like, you still have to check your heart and be like, okay, like, that wasn't very nice.
Yeah, and I went through it, like, I would get so worked up, and I, like, if I even thought for a second, like, something mean or judgmental, I'd, like, oh my gosh, like really get stressed out, and I don't know why, but, I mean, it's conviction. I mean,
it is conviction.
I knew I was doing something why I shouldn't be, and then I just get stressed out, like, even, even thoughts in your head, like ew, or like, I don't really like that.
Or even, like, lustful thoughts, like, if you're looking at someone in, like, a lustful way. Girls, your ovulation. I had a friend ask me one time, like, what it was like for girls to, like, be lustful, or, like, what it was like, because it was a guy asking, and he obviously knew, like, how it was for guys. And I think definitely it's, like, your thoughts. Like, I don't think
you come out and say,
no,
I wouldn't.
Right, I wouldn't.
But
I don't no, we're not speaking for all girls, but like I've like I can keep it to myself and I don't act on those things, obviously. But I mean, okay, I'm gonna be vulnerable here, guys, because you have to be vulnerable to help others. I was a big reader. I would read all the time. In middle school especially, yes. I would read all the bad parts of the books, all the smutty parts, and I learned what that actually was.
Yeah.
And it's affected me all these years later. I say that like I'm old. It was like 2-3 years ago. But it still like haunts me and affects me, and it hurts my thoughts, and that's something that I have to work on.
Yeah. And I'm very vulnerable too.
Okay.
We've all been teenagers, I think. We've all been at that age.
No.
Yeah.
I just feel like...
Madison, you've not
No. But even with, like, the things you watch, like, that affected me a lot. And I think, like, that's a huge part of my testimony, too, because I was, like, things like that you really can't keep in, because I was reading, I think it's either 1 Corinthians or Luke. It's like all things in the dark will eventually come out into the light.
Yes.
And I think that was something that was like, because I would just get so worked up and I was so convicted. And there was one time at my church's revival service, and I could just feel the Spirit like flowing towards me, and I just broke down in tears, and I went up and I gave it, and it was hard. Because you don't want to admit stuff like that. Like, that's something, like, for me it was embarrassing, but it's, if you just give it to God, then you're forgiven. Like, I was forgiven like that, and it was, like, a huge weight was lifted off my shoulders, and it was...
You're welcome.
And I just think that, again, that's such a huge part of my testimony.
Well, I feel like the devil also, too, he likes to get us to feel shame. And shame makes us not want to open up and share things and confess things. I'm not saying you have to tell all your friends, all your family, all your people, but, you know, friends are supposed to bear your burdens with you, and so is God. Like, you might be ashamed to even tell God and ask for forgiveness and repent, but guess what?
He already knows.
He was in that moment with you. Like, he knew, like, that's what he died for. He knew that going into it. So I also think that's been great, because I stayed silent about that for forever, and then I just kind of had to like work on that on my own, which is not easy. Do not recommend.
I feel like again with the Christian community, like if you don't have that good group of friends, then they don't know how to help you.
Yeah.
And I think that was I like to talk out my feelings with people, even if it's just for them to listen, but I think going to people you trust and know who they won't tell, and it'll just get out everywhere. I think that's definitely important too. And
even like having them pray, like they might not know how to help, but at least they can be praying behind the scenes. Like they can be working on your behalf regardless.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Okay, let's pick words that we want to do this year and kind of like explain. I'll go first. Mine, I talked about this a little bit earlier, but I want to serve. Like I've talked to like my grandma and a couple friends in our Bible study group. Like I want to go and publicly evangelize. Like yes, I have the podcast. Yes, I blast it all over my social media. But I feel like it's completely different doing it behind a screen and then doing it face to face.
100%.
Like, yes, people at school know I'm a Christian. Yes, they can see it through my actions. I don't talk about it as much anymore because I didn't want people to feel like at school that I was forcing it down their throats. Not saying that I don't bring Jesus up in conversations or anything, but I just want to go publicly evangelize, like go downtown, go to different stores in my hometown, just like ask people how I can pray for them, just go up to them and go up and serve and like actually serve like at the homeless shelters and be more servant-hearted and feel more bold, because I am bold on social media.
I think everyone is bold behind a screen, but once you like get face to face, it's really difficult.
Yeah, like and I know that's something people struggle with too. I have never been one to like. Okay, that's a lie. Once I had that big friend group breakup in middle school. Aniston, what did she said? You're lying in your podcast? Okay, Aniston. Sorry, no. Jesus. After I had the friend group breakup, I like stopped caring what people thought about me. I was like, you know, I don't care anymore. So it has been easy for me to be so bold in my faith, and like let everybody know through my fashion, through my actions, through my words. Like even like we just recently went back to school for the second semester, and like the new teachers are like, okay, write things down that explains stuff about you, like let me get to know you. And I wrote all about Jesus through all that, and like through different assignments. So people know I don't like, I'm good, like I want you to know. People have said things. Great. yes, I'm a Jesus freak. Yes, I put my identity in Jesus. Yes, that's great. That's a compliment.
Oh, hey, we're back.
Oh, sorry, the camera shut off.
Part
It's a
notes.
compliment.
Okay.
But like, yeah, it's different just going and doing it face to face. I feel like it's more personal and
That's
intimate.
yeah, that's something I struggle with too. Like people's opinions,
Yeah.
and I mean, again, all humans do the same thing, but like for me, it's just like I don't like people to like talk behind my back. I think that is just so like humbling, I guess. Like
Yeah.
okay, but
Thanks. Tell me how you really feel.
but I'm just like I don't want anyone to like, because I'm okay, again vulnerable here. I'm a very emotional person,
Mhm.
and
Hey, Jesus wept.
thank you. No, but I just don't like hearing bad things about me, because that really just like makes me feel like
You just overthink
so
everything. Yeah.
yes, very
Mhm.
overthinker, and I just don't think that any of that helps. And I just care like last year especially, I'd be like I had to make sure everyone liked me, like attention was all I was wanting, but I think as I've grown, I'm like, none of that really matters.
Yeah.
Because no one's gonna know me in heaven except Jesus. So,
like people are gonna know you.
oh yeah,
They're like, it's not gonna be about you. Like
Yeah,
you, like
yeah.
you won't be seeking for that attention or care about what they think of you in heaven.
scratch that. I'm not gonna be caring about what people
If
think
it's
about
not
me.
gonna matter in heaven, we shouldn't worry about it now.
Right.
Oh, I just thought of something. Like, I'm good at praying, like, before dinner with my family. I'm good at praying out loud for, like, at youth group or small groups. I had a girl, sweet girl, come up to me at school one time. She opened up and told me a little bit. She's like, can you just pray for me? And I was like, whoa. Wow. Like, no one's ever asked me to do that for them before, like, in person, like, pray over them right in that moment. Like, yes, I pray like in private, but that was like, wow, like eye-opening. Like I need to do this more. Like it was at school, it was just so great, and I was like, I need to continue doing this. I haven't. That was a couple months ago, but that is something I like to start doing too, like just being more public and open and just praying over people, because that's like, that makes people feel good, and you're just talking to your creator and you're helping them and you're all that stuff. So
Pause. Can we do a yawn count? For real?
yeah.
I've been yawning a lot.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Resume. Yeah. I think also being more confident in your faith is really important, because it lets people know, like.
Sorry. Alright. Hold on. For those of you listening, and for those of you watching, because you haven't seen it, do you want me to show them? Okay. Aniston found a new journal, and she just wrote, I love you, Jesus and God. I'll show the people watching. I don't know if you can really see it. It's like neon pink. One of my favorite things that Aniston does is, so she doesn't go to her, like, preschool, or not, you're not even in preschool. Ugh, you're all grown up.
First grade.
She doesn't go to her
Whoa.
first grade class, like for church on Sundays. She goes to big church with all of us. All my siblings do.
Hey.
And her and Preston and sometimes Jackson. Those are my 3 siblings. Sorry for just throwing out names. They'll all like write like different messages and different like little notes, or like, I love Jesus and God.
Like one time I write a Jesus book.
Yep.
Yes.
Jesus book. Yeah, sticky notes, and that is my favorite thing that they do every Sunday. That's my favorite thing they do, period. But that's what I look forward to every Sunday, is just seeing what they have to say and how their little hearts feel. Sweet. Okay, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Are you all spoken now?
Yeah.
All our words are
All the words are jumbled.
Yeah.
We're just, yeah.
we're vomiting. Okay.
Yeah, you do.
Okay. Do you want to pray or do you want me to pray?
You can pray.
Okay. Let's do this.
We were just talking about comment on our faith, and you can pray.
Okay. Here. Let's hold hands. Shelby did this to me, like, whenever she prayed and she was on an episode. She's like, let's hold hands. And I was like, I like that. So we're going to do it. This is a new year.
DIY PTSD.
DIY PTSD.
Think about it.
I don't. Oh.
Now we're talking about, okay.
Okay.
And action.
And action. 3, 2, 1. Hi, God. I've never started a prayer like that before. Okay. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this beautiful friendship I have with Lyla and for letting our paths cross and just getting to walk this life together and with you. It is just so special being able to watch you shine throughout her life, and I just pray for everyone watching that maybe they took something away from a little bit of our vulnerabilities and our struggles and hardships and how we overcome it and how we dealt with it. I pray for all those listening, like whatever unspoken battles that they may be going through, I pray that they just surrender it all to you and give it to you, God, because you're the only one who can, you know, protect them and save them and rescue them and provide for them. I just thank you for all that you've done, the good and the bad, because it all has a purpose, and in your name I pray. Amen.
Amen.